Hey everyone. Okay, today we are going to continue our journey using factors, divisibility, and prime composite numbers to apply them to the order of operations. So what we're going to look at first is this word numerical expression or numerical expressions. These are just basically math sentences. So these are math sentences. Make sure that you are taking notes inside your math journal. Anything you put into your math journal you can use on your test on Friday. Math sentences that have both operations and numbers. That's what they're called, numerical expressions. Okay, so numerical means numbers. An expression is like when you are expressing something, you express it with words, but in math, we express it with numbers. So operations are things like plus, minus, multiplication, division. So those are operations. Numbers are, well, those are numbers. You guys know what numbers are. Okay, so numerical means numbers. Operations are plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And so numerical expression is just a math sentence that has both of those things. And that's how you know it's a numerical expression. Okay, the word evaluate means to solve. This word is a super important word that you need to know forever. So don't ever let this word leave your brain. Evaluate means to solve. To solve or to find the value. All right, so we are going to be looking at order of operations. Well, what are order of operations? Order of operations are, well, that box is really big. Sorry, guys. Okay, order of operations are like a set of rules. So think of driving, okay? We drive, we have to have a certain set of rules when we drive. There's like a special side of the road you have to drive on. You have to stop when there's a special sign. You can't go over lines. You can't turn in certain places. You all have to go like certain ways. And if we didn't follow those rules, we would have like giant accidents everywhere, right? People would just be going in different places, crashing into each other. There'd just be like a big giant mess, right? Okay, so it's the same thing in math. So in math, we have to follow a set of rules in order to solve math problems. Because if we don't, everybody's going to be getting different answers. People aren't going to be arriving at the same place. There could be giant collisions of numbers everywhere. No, just kidding. There really wouldn't be. But everybody would be arguing about what the answer is instead of how they got to their answer. Okay? So order of operations is just a rule that we have to follow. So order of operations, the order of operations is a rule for solving math problems. I like to think of it as a checklist. Many teachers teach it in different ways, and so we're going to look at a way that I have found that really helps organize your thoughts and to make sure that your work is like being followed. And with that, a lot of students have found success with that. So let's start by looking at the rules. Okay, so the order of operations can also be looked at as the word PEMDAS. It's like a checklist. Some people say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but you know what? I don't care about your Aunt Sally. I mean, unless really you truly have an Aunt Sally, then we care about your Aunt Sally. But in math, we're not going to excuse her for anything. Okay? There is no excuse for Aunt Sally in math. That rule is really confusing, and it tells kids to do things in a different way than is really true. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be following this checklist, and we're going to be making sure that we're going from left to right a lot. So we'll talk about what that looks like in just a second. So the first rule that we want to follow in PEMDAS is looking at the parentheses. So the first thing that we're going to look at is parentheses. So the P stands for, parentheses. That word is always so hard for me to spell. Okay, parentheses or other grouping symbols. Okay, and we will talk about grouping symbols later on this week, but I will give you a heads up. They look like this, they look like this, and sometimes they look like fancy brackets. Okay, so parentheses. The second thing that we're going to look for is the exponents. But you and I, we are not doing exponents yet. So we're not going to worry about exponents. So exponents look like this. If this were a number, x, we're going to use x for something squared. It would just have that little teeny tiny number at the top. We'll talk about exponents later. Okay. The next word that we're going to look at is the M, D, or I'm going to write D, M. And this stands for multiplication and division, or division or multiplication. And it does not matter what order these go in, because we're going to go from left to right. So we do parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide. And we do it from left to right. Multiply, divide. And we do it from left to right. Left to right. Just like you're reading. So I read from left to right. You are going to solve multiplication and division from left to right. It doesn't matter how they're written. It goes from left to right. Okay? All right. And then last comes addition and subtraction. All right. We're ending with addition and subtraction, or subtraction and addition. It doesn't matter again, because we're going to do addition and subtraction, or subtraction and addition from, you guessed it, left to right again. Okay? So, add, subtract. We do that from left to right. All right. Okay, Miss Englander, what are you talking about? Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtraction, and we do them from left to right. All right. That's how we're going to do it. From left to right. Okay, here we go. Let's look at an example so that we can figure out what it is that Miss Englander is talking about. Okay, so let's first start with 16 plus 8 divided by 4. All right, so my first example here, let's look at it like this. How do we use the order of operations? That's my question. how do we use the rule? So how do we use this rule? How do we use the rule? That is our essential question. And that, my friends, is what you are going to be answering at the end of class today. So how do we use this rule? So example A, looks like this. 16 plus 8 divided by 4. Okay, so I like to set up my checklist. My checklist looks like this. PEMDAS. And now I know that I need to start with parentheses. I don't see any parentheses, so I'm going to check it off. I don't see any exponents. I'm going to check it off. Next, I'm going to look for multiplication or division, not just multiplication. I need to look for both. I'm going to start here on the left, and I'm going to read to the right, and whichever one comes first, that's the one I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 divided by 4 because the 8 is touching that division sign first. So that's the one I'm going to start with. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. Good. All right, now I'm going to drop down the rest of my problem so that I know what else I need to work with. Okay, I don't see any more operations that are multiplication or division, and I've looked from left to right, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that out. Now I'm going to add or subtract, whichever comes first in this. I only have addition left, so my answer is 18. Okay, so I've used this checklist. I've received an answer of 18, and I've started with multiplication or division. Okay, let's try another example. Example B. All right, example B says 5 plus 3 times 6 minus 4. Okay, we have a ton of different numbers and operations in this expression. So we definitely need our tool, our checklist out. So there's my checklist. And now I'm going to start with parentheses, which are not there. Exponents, nope. Multiplication or division from left to right. So I'm going to start here, and whichever one I am going to run into. So I'm running into this 3 that's touching the multiplication sign first. So 3 times 6 is 18. Now I'm going to drop down this minus 4 and this plus 5. Now I have addition and subtraction left to do. It just so happens that when I start on the left and go to the right, addition comes first. So that's the one I'm going to do first. So when I do addition first and I do 5 plus 18, I get 23. And now I am going to drop down the minus 4. I'm not done. I cannot cross it off. So 23 minus 4 is 19. Now I'm done. And I have an answer of 19. Notice how this one kind of bounced around a little bit more than this problem here. It's because we had more things to solve. Okay. Let's do another one, and this time I want to throw in some parentheses in here. Not brackets, we're not doing those yet. We will do those on on Thursday, later this week. Okay, so our next problem that I want to look at, our next example is 4 plus parentheses 8 minus 6 divided by 3, parentheses. Okay, this one is a little bit crazy, and that's okay if it's a little bit crazy. We are still going to attack this one the exact same way that we've been attacking all of our problems, okay? Again, I have my checklist set up right here. And I'm going to start in my parentheses. Now, notice I have 2 sets of operations in my parentheses. So I am going to start with this whole checklist over again inside my parentheses. No parentheses, so no exponents. So I'm going to start with either multiplication or division from left to right, which happens to be here. So 6 divided by 3 is 2 minus 8. Still not done with parentheses, so I'm just going to drop those down and I'm going to keep working with them. 8 minus 2. Well, 8 minus 2 is 6. I am done with my parentheses now. So I'm going to drop down the rest of this problem, cross those out. Done with exponents. I solved all the division and multiplication already, so those I can cross out. Addition and subtraction, I get 10. Okay, I am going to give you a try it to do. If you don't have any room or space here on this page, you can do it on the next page, or you can do it on the side over here. Okay, so my try it for today, I'm going to do it in a different color. My blue pen is running out of ink, so I will have to get a new one. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 try-its. And so once I write these down, you're going to want to pause the video so that you can actually try them yourself. All right, so my first try-it that I'm going to do is 3 times 5 minus 3. That's try-it number 1. And then try-it number 2. Try-it number 2 is going to be 7 times 16 divided by 8. Okay, so pause the video right now so that you're not listening to me while I solve these, and then come back and check your work. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay, P-E-M-D-A-S. All right, first I start no parentheses, no exponents. 3 times 5 is 15. All right, drop down my 3. Done. 15 minus 3. 15 minus 3. 12. And I am done. So you should have gotten 12 on that one. How did you do? Okay, P-E-M-D-A-S. Okay, here we go. Again, parentheses. Yes, I have parentheses this time. I don't have to skip them. Okay, 16 divided by 8 is 2. Parentheses are done. Times 7. 7 times 2. Multiplication and division from left to right is 14. No addition or subtraction, so I am done. So you should have had 12 for number 1 and 14 for number 2. Star them. Your job right now is to go back and answer your essential question. How do we use the rule, order of operations rule? How do we use this rule to solve numerical expressions? So in your own rules, your own words, tell me. And then over to this side, somewhere, tell me, how are you feeling about order of operations right now? 1, I have no clue what Miss Englander is doing. I'm going to go back and rewatch this video and add more to my notes. A 2, I am okay. I just really need to keep practicing and I like the checklist, or I have another way I'm going to do this. Or a 3, I am good to go. I know exactly how to solve these and I am ready to rock. So put your answer here and then head on over to do your practice. All right, thank you for your hard work today and make it a great day the Cougar way.